welcome to class today. The theme of today's class is going to be yoga to help us fall asleep. So put your pajamas on, and we're going to be sitting on the mat the whole time. We won't be standing up at all. So put something comfy on, and you can do this class just before bed, and we're going to be doing a lot of forward folds, which in yoga usually are seen to be really relaxing and calming poses. And you'll need two props. I've got a yoga block. You can grab a book or a pillow or even a folded up blanket just to come to sit on. And I have a strap here, but you can use anything you have handy around the house, a belt, the belt from around your dressing gown, maybe even a blanket could work as well. Okay, so let's get started, and we'll come to sit on the edge of our book or our block, or sitting on our pillow. And the idea for that is just to allow our hips to be up a little higher. And we're going to come into our first pose, which is our butterfly pose, our Upavista Konasana. So what we want to do is bring the soles of our feet together, and we can have them quite close to the body. So maybe the heels are in line with the knees. If that's really a little bit too much and it's a little bit too tight, you could bring the feet out a little bit further if that made you feel a little bit more comfortable. So the first place that we could start with this pose would be to just have our hands on our ankles, and we could sit up really nice and tall, relaxing the shoulders, taking our gaze just down onto the front of the mat. And this, if we felt like we could come down a little bit further, we felt like we were a little bit more flexible or supple today, and we could take a hold of the fingers and bring them around the toes, and we could lean forward slightly. So as we do this, we want to make sure we keep our back relatively straight. We don't want to just kind of collapse in and over our feet. So we maybe have a little bit of rounding in the back, but not too much. So we can clasp the hands around the toes. And if this is really uncomfortable or painful on the knees, you could pop some pillows or some type of prop underneath the knees, or you could bring the feet a little bit further forward. So coming to a place where you're comfortable, you could be sitting up quite nice and tall with your hands on your ankles. You could have your fingers around your toes, and we'll fold forward here just to a place that feels comfortable in your body. So in yoga, generally we say we want to come to about 60 or 70% of our full ability to have that stretch. So not coming to a place that it's really uncomfortable to stay, just coming to a place where you feel quite a nice comfortable stretch. A practice of kindness, this class, definitely. So finding a place where you're comfortable. And maybe you could close the eyes down, or if you feel uncomfortable closing the eyes down, you could just keep the gaze down on the mat. I'm going to spend a little bit longer in these poses than we usually do, and that's just to allow us to calm down, have a little bit more time in the pose, and give the pose a little bit of time to do its magic. While we're here, we could focus on our breath. Breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. Maybe seeing if we could breathe into the belly. And nice, long, slow exhales as we're here. Okay, just staying focused on the breath, and knowing that if the mind is a little bit busy today and wandering all over the place, we could just bring it back to the breath or the sensations in the body. Okay, you're doing a great job. A few more breaths here. Okay, and then we'll slowly come up if we fold it over at all. And we're going to straighten out our right leg. We're going to keep our left leg bent. And we want to bring the foot in kind of close towards the thigh. You can stay up using your block or your pillow if that's comfortable, or you can come off of it if it doesn't work for you in this pose. So we have maybe a little bit of space between the foot and the thigh. It's okay if they're touching, but maybe a little bit of space would be good. And we can grab hold of our strap, and we're going to bring that around the ball of our foot. So not the arch of the foot, the ball of the foot. I'm going to sit up really nice and tall. Shoulders are relaxed and back. We'll take a nice big breath here. So we want to feel like our spine is really up, nice and tall and straight. Crown of the head's reaching up towards the ceiling. And then if we feel that this is the best place for us to stay, if this is already quite a stretch, if it's already about 60% of that stretch that you feel, just stay here sitting upright and you'll get lots of benefits from the pose. If you felt like you could come a little bit further to get to your edge, the place where you get more of a stretch, you can walk your hands down the strap slightly. Remember to keep the spine nice and straight and to keep the shoulders kind of pushed back as well. Again, if there was any pain in this left knee, you could pop a book or a prop underneath. And depending on how comfortable or how much of a stretch you're feeling here, you could walk down further, bringing your hands all the way down, and you could even take hold of the foot if that was appropriate in your body today. Okay, and then closing down the eyes once more. If that's comfortable, or you could just keep the gaze down low. Quite nice straight spine if we can, shoulders are pulling back. You should feel this stretch in the back of the leg and the hamstring. Again, bringing the focus onto the breath or onto the body. Seeing if we can simply be in this moment now. Trying not to think too much about the future or the past. Nice long slow exhales in and out through the nose. Okay, and then we're going to walk our hands back up the strap if we've folded forward at all, and we'll swap to the other leg. So this time we'll straighten out our left leg and we'll bring our right foot in towards the left thigh, maybe a little bit of space there if we can. Pulling the toes of that left foot back, pop the strap around the ball of the foot. And remember, first stop is just to sit up really nice and tall. Gaze comes straight out in front, shoulders are pulling back, and that might be enough of a stretch, especially if you've got tight hamstrings or if you've been doing lots of sport or exercise recently. Otherwise, you might like to walk forward a little bit with your hands. Remember, spine is still staying up really nice and tall. Gaze can just come to the foot, or we could close the eyes down. And you can just come down to a similar place that you did on the other side, if that's possible. We'll try and aim for some balance and roughly similar amount of folding on both sides if we can. Sometimes we find one side of the body is much tighter than the other and we can't come as far on that side, and that's okay. So again, the focus comes to the breath. Nice long slow exhale. Pulling the shoulders back, arms are nice and straight, holding onto the strap. You should have that nice stretch in the back of the thigh or the calf. Okay, doing a great job. We'll stay here just for a little longer to give the stretch some time to have effect. And remember, when the mind starts to wander, just bringing it back to the body, back to the breath. Okay, and then we're going to slowly come up if we folded forward, and we can pop the strap off to the side. And we're going to come to a cross-legged position, and we're going to bring just a simple cross-legged position so that our left leg is in front of our right. So both of our legs are straight here, and our left leg is in front. And we're going to do this pose on both sides. So we'll start with our left leg at the front, and then the next side we'll do our right leg at the front. So this is a really simple pose. It's called our fire log pose. You might find that it helps to stay sitting up on this block or prop or pillow slightly as well, and that allows you to feel a little bit more comfortable in the hips. And so the first place and the thing that we'll do is we'll just raise our arms up to really feel that lengthening of the spine. Crown of the head reaches up. You could even take the gaze up if that's comfortable. Then we'll bring the hands down in front of us and bring them onto the mat. So this might be as far as you come in this pose, and we want to make sure that our sit bone, so our bum, is still in contact with the mat. So if you've come to this place here and you find that you're lifting up off the mat, then you can come up even further and just bring your hands onto your knees, onto your thighs. Otherwise, you could have your hands on the mat, and if you thought that maybe you could come a little bit further forward and stay in contact with the mat, you might walk the hands out a little further and just coming down as far as is comfortable. So there's a big stretch on the outside of the hips, so depending on how that is for you today, it might be different on different days as well. You could close down the eyes. We'll take the gaze down low. And as we inhale, we'll make sure we're lengthening through the spine. We might exhale to come down a little further. We'll make sure we stay at a comfortable stretch here. Our arms are stretched out in front of us. We'll make sure we don't drop our head too far. We'll keep our neck in line with our spine if we can. Gaze is down low or eyes are closed. We'll take some breaths here. Just breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. And remember, it's totally normal for your mind to be really busy and for there to be lots of thoughts and for you to get distracted. The only thing that's important is that we notice that, and every time we notice we've gotten distracted, we just bring ourselves back to our yoga practice or our breath today. Okay, and then really slowly, if we've folded over at all, we'll really slowly walk our hands back towards our body, and then we're going to swap sides. So this time we're going to bring our right leg in front. So just a simple cross-legged position, heels at either side. And then we will, once again, like we did the other side, we'll just stretch up, take the gaze up. And we'll lean forward, bring the palms of the hands onto the mat. Remember, you have the option here, if that's a little bit too much already, and if your sit bones are lifting up, you could just come to sit up really nice and tall. And then coming forward, and we'll roughly try and come forward to the same distance we did on the other side. So we'll stretch our arms out in front. See if we can keep our neck relatively in line with our spine, and we can close down our eyes or keep our gaze down low. And if it just feels uncomfortable to come down to the same position as you did on the other side, you can back off a little bit. That's totally fine. One side of the hips might feel a little tighter, and that's completely fine. So here we are, we're going to take a few deep breaths, nice long slow exhales, really focus on nice calm breathing. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths here. And then we'll walk our hands back towards the body. And we might like to come back to sitting on our prop if we didn't use it. So we might like to come back to sit on the prop, and we can just come to whichever cross-legged or kneeling position. It's always okay as well. So whatever cross-legged or kneeling position feels most comfortable in our body. And we're going to do a nice simple twist. So raise the arms up. Take the gaze over to the left. Left hand comes onto your low back. Right hand comes onto the thigh. And we'll take our gaze all the way behind us. If that's a bit uncomfortable on the neck, don't look as far behind you. So we're sitting up really nice and tall. So inhale as we lengthen the spine. Maybe exhale as we twist around a little further. Taking the gaze towards the wall behind us. Nice big deep, long, slow exhales and breaths here. Okay, so we're going to keep our body exactly where it is. And we're going to bring the gaze into the middle. And if that feels okay on the neck, we'll take the gaze over to the right, just for a little stretch for our neck. If that's a little bit too intense, just take the gaze back to the center or even back behind you. So take the gaze over our right shoulder. One big deep breath here. Nice long slow exhale. Okay, and we'll reach our arms back up into the sky. Left hand comes onto the left thigh, right hand comes onto the low back. We'll take our gaze behind us. Inhaling to lengthen the spine, exhaling, twisting around, gaze comes to the wall behind us. Nice, long, slow breaths. Remember, if this is uncomfortable in the neck, you could keep the gaze just out in front or wherever it felt most natural. We'll make sure in class that we're never doing any poses that feel painful or sharp or tingly. We always come straight out of those poses. We don't want to stay anywhere where we're feeling any pain. One more breath here. We'll keep the body where it is and we'll take the gaze into the center. And then if it's okay with the neck, we'll take the gaze over the left shoulder. Taking the gaze down low onto the floor on the left hand side. Inhale, nice long slow exhale. One more breath. Okay, we're going to release. We'll bring the arms into the middle. One big stretch. We're going to intertwine the fingers and we're just going to take a big stretch over to the right. And over to the left. One more either side. Over to the right. And over to the left. Okay, we can pop our prop off to the side now. And we'll come to lay on our back. So our feet are still in contact with the floor. And we want our ankles to roughly be below our knees. We'll bring our hands down by our side. And we're just going to allow our knees to fall from either side first. A little bit of our windscreen wiper knees. So you could bring your feet about as wide as the mat and let the knees fall from side to side. Just releasing the low back here slightly. Okay, we'll come back to center. We'll bring our feet as wide as our hips and our ankles roughly below our knees here. Bring our hands down by our sides and we're going to do our bridge pose, our Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. And we're going to lift our hips up. Hands could be pushing into the mat or they could come together
you could bring the palms of the hands together. We'll make sure the knees are quite close to each other. We'll make sure not to look from side to side because that could be quite dangerous for the neck here. So we're pushing the hips up. We'll keep the knees really nice and close together. I'm going to take a few breaths. Pushing up. Using the hands, pushing into the floor. Gaze stays up at the ceiling. Heels, feet are pushing into the mat also. And we'll lower all the way down. Then we'll come into our final pose, our Shavasana. So bringing your legs down. Arms come down by the sides, palms facing up. You could grab a blanket and pop that over you. Pop a jumper on if you feel a bit cold. We're going to lay down. Bring our arms down by our sides, our palms facing up towards the ceiling. Completely relaxing the legs. I'm going to relax the whole body. So this is our Shavasana, our final pose, our resting pose, and we'll have a little relaxation here. As we exhale, we're going to relax each different part of our body. So inhale, and on the exhale, we're going to relax our feet and our toes. Inhale, and as we exhale, we'll relax the ankles and the lower legs. As we inhale, breathing into the knees. We exhale as we completely relax the knees. Inhale, breathing into the thighs. Exhale to completely relax the thighs. Inhale, breathing into the area around the hips and the pelvis. And exhale to completely relax and let that go. Breathing into the lower back and the belly. And exhaling to completely relax the low back and the belly. The chest and the upper back, breathing into the chest and the upper back. And exhaling to completely release and relax the chest and the upper back. And the shoulders and the neck, breathing into the shoulders and the neck. And exhale to let them relax, let go of them. Breathing into the arms and the hands. And exhale to completely relax the whole of the arms and the hands. And into the neck and the head, breathing in. And then allow the whole of the neck, the head and the face to completely relax. And allow the whole body to relax and let go here. Completely relax the body and the face. And allow the body to feel heavy. Really nice and slowly, when we're ready, we're going to bring our knees into our chest. I'm going to bring our forehead up to our knees when we have a little rock from side to side. Just releasing our low back. And then we're going to come up to a seated position. Really nice. Keeping your eyes closed or downcast if you can. And come up to a seated position. I'm going to sit up nice and tall. I'm going to raise our arms up. Palms come together. Hands come down through center. Come to the center of our chest. And you can join me by bowing your head and saying Namaste. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for class this evening. I hope that class has allowed you to relax and quieten down, and I hope that you have a really great night's sleep. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, comment, subscribe to the channel, share the video, let me know. Thanks again for coming to class, and I hope you sleep well.